Welcome to the Crap Movie Review. The only place on the internet where the review looks worse than the film. In this episode we look at an ass-clenchingly bad film from 1965. Get ready for corporate espionage, endless musical numbers and a group of friends who barely give a toss when one of them drowns. Our movie opens with two guys singing a song about the evils of money. This is immediately followed by the opening titles and then by a long musical segment where we see a lot of happy teenagers board a boat and head out to an island. Their arrival is reported via radio by the main character, Irving. 7 minutes of runtime wasted before the first line of dialogue is spoken. Irving tells his boss that some teens have arrived on his island. Boss is displeased and tells his daughter to contact the agent and tell him to get rid of the teens by all means necessary. His daughter appeals for clemency but Dad is having none of it. Unexpectedly, he asks who the agent on the island is, even though he was just on the radio to him. His daughter tells him it is Irving and he is far from impressed. His daughter talks him round and she leaves for the island to help Irving with his task. As she goes she runs into Irving's twin brother Herman. Herman has the same opinion of Irving's abilities, but she carries on anyway. More bloody music. Actually, the music is not unpleasant, but I wonder how much movie would be left if you took these seemingly unimportant scenes out. Irving's enjoyment of the music is interrupted by a phone call from his brother. That too is interrupted by the boss calling Herman into his office. It turns out that Herman and his brother work for a cosmetics company. Herman tests out the new line of lipstick by kissing models wearing it. After an awkward 2 minutes, the boss tells Herman that Project X must not be discovered by his arch-nemesis, a woman called Salamander. Salamander is well aware that Project X is the fountain of eternal youth. She plans to bottle and sell it before Irving's boss does. She apparently dislikes her staff to the point of physical violence and has a less than sympathetic view of teenagers. Her musings on being rich last but a shot. This is followed by yet another musical interlude with a romantic theme. This had better have something to do with the rest of the film. The purpose of this scene is to introduce two more characters, the youngsters Lynette and Frankie and their pal Dodo. They are on the island for their annual treasure hunt. As the sickly trio mercifully disappear from the screen, a single-prop aeroplane flown by the boss's daughter passes overhead. Her progress is watched from the runway by Irving, who freaks out unnecessarily with every loop-the-loop and dive. She lands safely and Irving rides toward her on his bicycle. The boss's daughter performs what's known as a fourth wall break. There was no need to inform us that Irving has not changed, but it's a fun film. Bollocks. We now get a shot of a boat where Lynette and Frankie receive a phone call. It is the mother of Dodo, but he is in a dinghy looking sheepish and cannot come to the phone. More bastard music. Dodo is singing about how lonely his life is. Where is a 25-foot great white shark when you need one? Instead a blonde turns up. A happy day for Dodo, until it turns out that the blonde is a mermaid. Back at Irving's house, the boss's daughter is trying to get Irving to see just how much he means to her, but Irving is that much of a hopeless moron that he does not seem to understand. It's the wrong sort of movie for Jayne Mansfield to take a more direct approach to Jackie Leonard's heart, and perhaps the producers did not carry enough insurance in case of cardiac arrest. Irving relates the tale of his brother Herman's wife, who he has hardly seen since they got married. The next scene points out why he is married to Salamander, fat tosser that he is. The scene where these two are reunited is inexplicably interrupted by a shot of Dodo, who is incredulous at the mermaid now in his dinghy. So much so that he throws himself into the water. Fair enough. Back to Salamander and Herman. To my horror he starts singing. Oh great. Whilst he sings the actually humorous song, "You haven't changed a bit," Salamander's Arab stereotype servant starts growling like Boris Karloff from Frankenstein. Everyone's a critic, it would seem. Herman tells Salamander that Irving has been charged with the task of finding the fountain of eternal youth, and that he is willing to betray his boss in order to spend all time with her. After yet another disjointed shot of Dodo with the mermaid, Irving and the boss's daughter start trilling on about love. More bastard singing. There is now a scene with Mr. Wellington, the boss, who is planning an ad campaign for when his agents return with the water from the Fountain of Youth. He calls the secret formula LSD-26. I am not sure if that is a joke or an unfortunate coincidence. Anyway, the boss issues Irving with an order to find out what the teens on the island are actually up to, so under the watchful eye of the boss's daughter, he approaches the teens at the beach, and they begin to circle him suspiciously. It turns out well though, and I feel another song coming on, a bit like an unbidden wave of nausea. Back in the city, the boss decides to go to the island personally and find the fountain. The teens seem happy enough with Irving, and are looking forward to their treasure hunt. They had better make it snappy. We are halfway through the film and nothing has been resolved. At least the teens are making a start on digging for their treasure. To my utter dismay, it does not stop the little bastards from singing. Dodo admits to Frankie that he is in love with a mermaid, and the boss's daughter forces Irving onto her plane at gunpoint, threatening murder if he does not marry her. Dodo sings about the effing mermaid. Why doesn't someone shoot him before the movie theater is covered in vomit? In a scene which made me downright bilious, the effing mermaid sings at Dodo from beneath the waves, and he sings back wandering out to sea, hopefully to drown. Bastard. The teens seem to take the apparent demise of Dodo quite well. After further searching of the island, they discovered that the Spanish galleon they were searching for was moved by the U.S. Department of Commerce. Tough shit. Meanwhile, Herman and Salamander arrive at his office block. It would seem that the Fountain of Youth was here all along. Bloody typical. The teens leave the island for Cape Gardens. They have been reliably informed that the galleon they seek has been moved there. As they go, it becomes clear that no one gives a monkey's toss about the loss of Dodo. The selfish bastards haven't even notified the Coast Guard. They don't even cry about it. Cape Gardens is also the place where the boss's daughter has instructed Irving to wait until she can reach her father. As the kids leave the island, Mr. Wellington arrives in his yacht. I wonder if they will stretch out the docking scene to 1.5 minutes like they did the departure scene. Well, bugger me, they did. As he rides the boat into shore, Mr. Wellington is menaced by the disembodied voices of Jimmy Cagney and Humphrey Bogart. The reasons for this are unclear. At this point the screen fades to black. Unfortunately, the film is not over. Salamander and Herman find out the Fountain of Youth is in fact a rare double-headed black rose, located in, yep you guessed it, Cape Gardens. Just as this fact is revealed, we see a shot of Irving picking the rose and putting in his lapel. Right, surely the movie is over now? No. The boss's daughter finds out about Herman's treachery, and so he and Salamander tie her to a pipe in the basement whilst they go in search of the rose. She is then rescued by Salamander's disgruntled servant. The kids arrive at Cape Gardens, and after having viewed the mizzen-mast of the galleon, they depart, except for Lynette and Frankie, who talk to each other in disjointed, fragmented sentences. Then they start singing again. Salamander and Herman find the one remaining black rose head and they both eat it. Yup, they both eat it. If this movie was a person, I would have punched it in the face by now. As a result of this, they both become very small children, much to Irving and the boss's daughter's surprise. What's a bit more surprising is the elderly couple that Irving and his girlfriend give the other rose to. They grow younger and become Frankie and Lynette. We didn't even see them grow old. From their names it's clear they were on board the Galleon when it ran aground in the 1500s. After a shot of Mr. Wellington about to disembark from his boat onto a deserted island, the movie ends, and not a moment too soon. The Fat Spy is a very silly film. It is episodically edited so that it becomes highly confusing. This worsens towards the end. The acting isn't so bad, there are some funny moments here and there, but not laugh-out-loud stuff. There is only one notable mistake with the camera work. There is one scene where it gets dark and then light again phenomenally quickly. This is caused by the absence of proper outdoor lighting. The effect of a cloud passing overhead makes it look like dusk has begun to fall very rapidly and then changed its mind. I got a sense of watching more than one movie here, and that would have been excusable if a common thread between the characters existed, but as it is, the main protagonists seem to be in competition for screen time. The end result is a dizzying mishmash of musical schmaltz and unfunny lines. The Fat Spy is an annoying movie on many levels. When comedy fails as badly as this, it is a heartbreaking sight, especially as so much talent has been so obviously wasted. Well, that's all for this episode, so until next time, bollocks.